Hey. All right, guys. This is
Day.
I see your face expression. You in the zone. Good morning, guys. It is day 7 of the wake-up call, the Love You Experience. And we're so honored to be sitting here with you guys once again to just kind of chat, talk, answer questions, get some things out there into the open that might help someone else that is listening. So first and foremost, we thank you as always for listening. If you know anyone that might need some inspiration, some love, some guidance, definitely get this to them so that they can hear it. We have a few questions that were brought up into the group
last night.
Okay, so
you want me to go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay, we had this question last night, and it was, how can someone expect you to be loyal to them when they have never been loyal to you? And that's a topic that a lot of people face, especially women. They're like, they feed off of that. You better be loyal to me, or I think you're doing this to me, or you're doing me wrong. And it's constantly things in women's minds that make us believe that our men are trying to do things they're not even trying to do.
Yeah.
And we sabotage ourselves and our own relationships by doing so.
Yeah.
Men do it too. It's not just women. But women, the majority of women do this without even realizing it. And when it comes to this question, the way that it is worded is, how can you expect? First, you can't expect anything. Expectation only exists because you allow it to exist. We should not expect of anybody. We should never say to anybody, hey, you should do this because if you don't, then I'm going to be disappointed in you. We should never hold them to a higher standard than what God created them to be. We should love them as all that they are. And as far as the loyalty, what is loyalty? Loyalty is different meaning to everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different meaning for what loyalty means to them.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, all these words, all these feelings, everything that is inside of us, it's all vibration, and we are tuning into those different vibrations that make us feel that someone must be loyal to us. Now, if we're on the same vibration as someone who does not have any of these thoughts whatsoever of someone being unloyal, then you're on this higher vibration. Your point of attraction is higher. Therefore, you're attracting that relationship that does not need to have a status quo of loyalty, trust, all of these things. They are freely giving.
Right.
Because you're on that vibration. You are at that moment vibrating in sync with the vibration of the things that you want.
Right.
So when you go ahead and say, how can you expect, you're already putting negative energy, the negative vibration into that because you're expecting instead of just letting it be.
Right.
Because if somebody is not meant to be with you, everything that can go wrong is going to go wrong. The vibrations are out of whack, so chaos is going to happen around you, and they're not going to do anything you want them to do. They're not going to do anything you expect of them to do, and all you're left with is broken hearts, disappointment, and feeling that all men, all women are dogs, hoes, whatever you want to say, however you want to say it.
Right.
So the thing for this is, don't expect somebody to be loyal, because that is your first mistake, is you're going into a relationship expecting of someone else.
Right.
Which takes away from their being.
Right.
It takes away from the essence of who they are and does not allow them to be who they're meant to be.
Right.
Because who they're meant to be is not meant to be in alignment with you. And you are forcing that. And so the resistance of that vibration of you trying to force it is only going to create more of what you're not wanting from your partner.
Right, but what about on the flip side of that? Because you're speaking in a perspective of, I'm expecting, but what about the person who is on the receiving end of that? If I'm expecting loyalty from my partner, but I know that I'm not giving it, what do you say to that, to my partner? What do you say to that person that is loyal
expected
to me?
Of?
Right.
Is that the person that is expected of? What I say in that manner is the same thing that I say to you. There's a fine line in all of this, and that is vibration, your point of attraction.
Right.
So you fine-tune your vibrations, you get on the right vibrations, and then you get the things that you want. So you don't have to expect them to be loyal.
Right.
Because they came to you loyal already.
Right.
You don't have to expect them to be understanding because they came to you understanding already.
Right.
one thing you and I know is that when it's not meant to be, or when there's confusion, there is chaos, there is struggle, there is battles left and right, there's cycles.
Absolutely.
And when you get caught up in a cycle you can't break free of, and then you leave that cycle unpeacefully, you go into another cycle with somebody else with the same shit happening over and over and over again, and then they're left there sitting there asking, why me? Why do I have all the bad luck?
Yeah, just like the video that cracks me up that's going around on Instagram where she's like, if another man breaks my heart, I'm going to punch him in the face. And she just goes crazy. I mean, I thought it wasn't funny. Yeah, it wasn't funny, but it was funny. Every time I see it, I crack up. But to be real about the situation, she puts herself in that position. Exactly.
Over and over again,
exactly. Yeah. You cannot expect, number one, like you said, women have so many expectations of men to treat us a certain way, but are you exuding exactly what it is that you want from your partner?
They're going to
9 times, exactly, 9 times out of 10, absolutely not.
Yeah, we expect so much of them that we dehumanize them and we demand them.
Right.
We make them feel less than. We make them feel not good enough. We make them feel all these bad things about themselves because we have our own problems we're facing, and because we don't tap into ourselves and we don't recognize it within ourselves, we put it on their shoulders.
Right.
And then we screw them up.
Right.
When they were fine, it was us that we refused to even look at, to refuse to even fix.
That's good.
And they want to go blame another man or another woman for everything that is going on.
Yeah.
Everything that you ever have or encounter in a relationship is a reflection of your own problems, not theirs.
Yeah.
And the moment that you can break down that barrier and say, get rid of ego, because the ego is going to tell you, I don't want to say that you're right and I'm wrong.
Right.
So you have to get rid of ego and then step into the relationship from a place of peace and healing.
Right.
Where you truly want to heal the relationship, where you truly want to try. And you know that that's something I'm going through right now as we speak.
Yeah.
And so I'm going through that same process. That's why it's so easy for me to talk about it right now.
Right.
And why I'm going to be following what I am saying in this moment.
Right.
I am going to be giving him the compliment. Men need compliments. They need to know that they are needed.
Yeah.
They need to know that you respect them, that they are the men that God created them to be. They have that earning. That's how they're wired.
Yeah.
And so you have to make them feel like that man. Because the more you make them feel like that man, the more they're going to make you feel like a queen.
Yes.
And that is why so many struggle to have that, I'm your king, I'm your queen. You can't treat me like this, you can't treat me like that. Because they're battling inside themselves and projecting it out onto the world, and then it's reflecting back in them in their relationships. Even in their bedroom relationships, their friendships, their family relationships, their relationships with their children, everything.
Right. That's powerful. Because when I do my self-check moments and have a moment of self-reflection, and I think about a lot of my relationships that fell through. Either I stopped talking to somebody, I cut somebody off, or vice versa. And for me, it was because the level of respect. I didn't feel like I was receiving what I was giving. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, are you really giving what you think that you're giving? Because we have the perception of self-thinking that we're giving something that we are absolutely not giving. And that goes back. Yes. So it goes back to the whole control thing. It's
them trying to control the relationship and how it dictates what it's going to give you and when it's going to give it to you and how you're going to feel from
instead of just letting it flow.
Yes. If you just walk in the now and just say, okay, today might not be perfect. My relationship may not be perfect in this moment right now.
Yeah.
But who knows what can come of today?
Right.
Who knows how many things are going to happen and transpire to make growth happen between us or bring the love back between us. People are so focused on what's not going wrong. You have to get on the vibration of what you want in the relationship you want, you got to quit thinking of all the things you don't want.
Right.
Because that's the vibration you're getting.
Yeah, which means you're creating everything.
And there was another question off of this one about being loyal, and she said, is loyalty a thing that's taught? Can you teach someone to be loyal? That goes back to the controlling aspect. You're already trying to control the situation. You cannot be in a fulfilling relationship when you have an ounce of trying to control the other person.
Right.
You have to let
becoming
them,
what you want.
Yes,
right.
You have to let them be who they are. And if you don't love them for who they are, then why are you with them?
Right. That's not the situation for you.
Yes, and that is something, and you can fix that. I'm not saying that you need to go jump out of the relationship because you don't like who they are and they don't like who you are. Things can be fixed. There is middle ground, and that is the thing, is you don't want to go into the relationship already with this mindset that I need to control you to be loyal, because so many people have hurt me in my life that I don't trust you even though you ain't done nothing to me, but I'm going to go ahead and put this out there to the universe so the universe can give me more of this shit that I don't want right here in my face, in your body. That is what you're saying in that moment.
Yeah.
And people don't realize that.
That's powerful.
My source just came flying out.
Hey, baby, spoke to me. You already know on that tip. Dang. Hush your mouth.
When I get like that, it's just like it just flows and it just comes out.
Yeah, absolutely. We love it.
It's just the man has this need of make me feel loved, make me feel appreciated, make me feel worthy, make me feel this, make me feel that, make me feel this, make me feel that.
Why?
Why? Nobody anywhere should make you feel anyway. You have to look within self to get those feelings.
Just think about when you were a kid. Yeah. No one has to give you those feelings.
Right.
It was there.
Right.
It's the stuff that we go through in life.
Just like as a kid, like Abraham was talking about last night.
Yeah.
As you're talking about, well, I don't like this situation that I'm in, so I'm going to leave this room, and I'm going to do it to make a point, and when I leave this room, I'm telling the universe, I'm leaving this. And the universe says, okay, I'm going to give you more of it in the next room, because you left it unpeacefully.
Right.
You
That's
didn't
powerful.
bring peace to that
Did y'all hear that, guys? Say that again.
You're going to get more of it in the other room, because you did not leave the situation peacefully.
Yeah.
The more you're resistant to a situation, the more that you're going to get of that situation that you don't want.
Yeah.
The more that you're resistant to opening your heart to somebody, the more they're going to be guarding their heart to you.
Yeah. I can attest to that, because thinking about my last relationship, man, we were in each other's lives since I was 16, over 10 years. And it's crazy because every breakup that we had throughout that time span, it was never peaceful up until this last one. It was never peaceful. So I couldn't understand, you know, how we'll make it work. You know, I love you. I'll never do it again. And then go right back into the same thing, because
the cycle of behavior was never broken.
Right. The cycle of behavior.
Had that time to grow.
Exactly.
To understand what the behavior was, one.
Right.
And then figure out how to fix it.
Right.
Because until it's fixed, it just continues.
Right.
Over and over again.
Right.
And another thing I wanted to touch on what I was saying a second ago about walking out of the room and making a point, you know, leaving a situation in resentment, hatred, anger, anything like that. You have to not allow these things to affect you. And I can, oh my God, this last week I've been kind of out of touch with my source in ways that this morning you're seeing it where I've always been, and now it's finally back because I went and cleansed my chakras and everything. But I was not ignoring all of these things and saying, I don't care what you're doing. That doesn't bother me. And like Abraham was saying last night, people ask, how can I leave a situation without it bothering me? How can I stay in a negative situation without it bothering me? Do I need to leave the room? And the thing is, our children can show you so many things about how to deal with situations in your life. Because they don't have that tainted mind that thinks that that's full of ego.
Absolutely.
The only reason they have ego is because we instilled it in them, because they watched us.
Speak. Yes.
So we need to step back, stop thinking so much, stop overthinking, stop overreacting. Watch our children and how they react to things. Like my oldest son, I want to cry because of how big his heart is.
Aww.
Like, he has more love and compassion. And I told him this last night. I'm like, son, you are the epitome of what this world needs.
Yeah.
And it was just an awe-inspiring moment to sit back and look at my child and learn something from him rather than be stuck in my views and my ways.
I can attest.
So we need to step back, calm our spirits, look at our children, watch their behavior and how they handle things before we taint them.
Right.
From the time they're like an infant to 2 years old, before they get those behaviors that we don't want them having.
Absolutely.
Watch them and then revert your behavior to like childlike.
Absolutely.
Rather than making their behavior like ours.
Girl, you got me in tears over here. Yeah, I can definitely attest to that because I had the same moment with my princess, and that has inspired me to do things that I probably wouldn't have done, you know, had it not been for me becoming a mom and me just being able to feel the unconditional love and compassion and just how pure, like you said, their hearts are, and watching her and seeing how she handles things with love no matter what.
Yeah, oh God, that girl has a spirit that just sings on high like flying angels in the sky. Like, I've never...
Yeah, I feel like the most luckiest woman in the world, you know, and for me, it just helps me release everything that I held on to, you know what I'm saying? Everything that caused me to resent and hate certain people and be insecure about myself.
Yeah.
Just so many things. Mm-hmm. And when I look at her and then I have a negative thought or have something down to say about myself, it's like instantly check yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you have so much to live for. You have so much inside of you that you barely scratched the surface.
Yeah.
And when I say you, I'm speaking to you that's out there listening. Yeah. You have barely scratched the surface of who you were created to be. And when you find that place of peace, of love, of compassion, of understanding, all the things that are within your higher consciousness,
I feel
you will automatically attract. You will instantaneously attract, whether it's friendships, companionships, whatever the situation is, you will instantaneously attract everything that you are within. So if you're exuding love and compassion and kindness, that is what you will attract. If you exude hating, being negative, being a pessimist, that is what you will attract. So, and anything in your life, not just relationships. So I want you guys to really horn in on what can I do to make me better. Stop looking so much in other people that all you do is point the finger. Why are they this way? Why did they treat me like this and that? Because when you start to point the finger, your healing and growth can't happen there when you're pointing the finger. When you turn that mirror around and look center, look into your own eyes, look into the person or into the reflection, excuse me, goodness, that you are looking at, and be real with yourself. There isn't anyone out here that can tell you who you can or cannot be after you have healed and come to grips with who you truly are and then grow from that point. Like Brandy said, the expectations of he's not doing this right or she's not doing that right.
We do that as parents. Too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, one thing that I'm going forward with my life with from this point forward is instead of saying, what would Jesus do? I'm going to say, what would my child do in this moment? What would my child do?
Yeah.
Because my child is not tainted by the ways of the world.
Right.
My child doesn't have all these ego-led
They're closer
things
to where we come from than we are.
Yes.
Right.
So that is why I'm going to let every situation from this point forward, I'm going to look at it through the eyes of my children rather than my own.
Right.
Because that's what clouds me, It's all the crap that's been fed into my mind.
Right.
You know, when you get to a certain point where you have had so much get into your mind that it just makes you not know what's real, what's not real, who you are, who you're not. You lose yourself. You lose your guidance system.
Yeah.
And so that is why, like with our children, and the topic of control.
Right.
Going back to that, making someone be this way, making someone be that way. I found myself trying to make my children be this or make my children be that. That's not my job. It is not my job to interfere with God and His work. So therefore, I can no longer make my children do anything.
Right.
Because that, other than keep them safe, you know, from harm, keep them from doing wrong.
Keep them grounded,
But at the same time, they have to learn from their own mistakes.
Right.
They have to make mistakes.
Right.
And I'm not going to stop them from making those mistakes.
Right.
And I'm not going to try and control them into being this molded little thing that I want them to be.
Right, exactly.
What I want them to be is not what God wants them to be.
Exactly.
Same example with a relationship. You want to mold your partner into what you want it to be instead of letting it be what God wanted it to be.
Right.
And that is why so many people struggle to keep a relationship, why so many can't find a relationship, because everybody's so full of expectation and no giving, no understanding.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I stated before, to have expectations of someone else that they have to be a certain way, you don't have to stress yourself out and worry about if a person is a certain way if you are already that way yourself.
Yeah. And
it's just as simple as that. And but yeah, the point that you made about letting our kids be who they are, you know, a lot of people that I come into contact with, we have this debate because I choose to homeschool.
Yeah.
And they say, well, you don't ever think about putting her in school, but what about social life and this and that? And it's just like, for me, looking back on school and what it did for me, it's a waste of time, in my opinion. Now, that's just my opinion. So if I feel like that, if I feel like it's hindered my growth mentally, spiritually, emotionally, why would I send my child into that? That is my viewpoint as far as that's concerned. So I feel like allowing my child to be a free spirit and go through life, our adventures, as I tell her, so that she can learn through experience. Not because someone's saying, hey, remember this. Can you recall last month's exam, et cetera, you know, based on memory, based on programming. That's the word that I'm looking for, based on programming. No, I want her to learn through life experiences, through adventure, through...
well, that's the way that everything works, because we have, like, when you reference the Bible versus the truth within you, the truth within you is already known, and it comes out of you in times, and you're like, wow, where'd that come from?
Right.
That's the truth within you. That's your source speaking through you in those moments.
Right.
And people just think, well, that was odd. They don't realize the connection there. And when you were thinking about the Bible, this is a book that you have to read and memorize to know it. That doesn't make you question something.
Right.
To me, it does. It puts up many red flags in my mind.
Yeah.
If I read something of the Bible, I can tell in an instant whether that's truth or whether it was forged.
Right.
And there is many truths and many forgeries in that Bible.
Very much so.
And
things that were taken
so
out
literally.
that, yeah, very much so. And I tried to have these conversations with a lot of religious people, but when you can eliminate any outside sources, then you will be able to hear the answers that is necessary for you to understand yourself, understand your purpose, and know where you're going. There's so many people that die never knowing what their purpose is, never knowing how to reach that extra mile or level in their goal or their dreams, and it's all within. It's already in us. It was instilled in us since the day that we were planted inside of our mom's womb. It was instilled in us already. So if you eliminate all the outside noise, and that is the importance of meditation, that is the importance of meditation. If you have not started meditating, please reach out to me or leave a comment underneath this video so that I can get you some information to get started, because when I say it completely changed the dynamic of how I think, my sensors or feelers, what I'm more receptive to versus what was clouded before.
Yeah, how you look at your relationships.
Everything.
How you are patient with your relationships. Guys, from this point forward, I want you to go into any connection you have with another human being without a motive behind it. Without
strong.
Yeah, without what can you do for me kind of mentality. How can I train you to do this? How can I control you to do that? Get rid of that, because until you do, you're never going to have a single fulfilling relationship in your entire life.
Right.
And you're going to wake up when it's too late wishing that long ago you had stopped being so damn egotistical.
Yeah.
And controlling. And most people don't realize that all of that comes from within them. You're so focused on everybody else. Quit making a list of what everybody else does wrong. Start making a list of what you do wrong. Start fixing what's wrong with you.
Yes.
The hell with everybody else, because everybody else is going to fix. You're going to start feeling magical when you start fixing yourself. You're going to feel like a living God.
Yeah.
You're going to feel like you literally control every single step that is ever taken around you.
You're going to feel that way because that's the reality,
yes.
of what happens.
That's what I love about it, is that you actually get to see it happen, and you get to feel that majestic being within you, and then once you realize you're in control of it, you feel like you're living in a playground the rest of your life, and it's yours for the taking, whatever you want to do in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you've got an option here. You can live in the struggle, live in controllingness and ego and all of these things, and constantly hate everything around you because it's not what you want.
Yeah.
Or you can face self in the mirror. Get deep inside self.
Yeah.
Go those places you don't never want to go before and fix them. Love them away.
That is a powerful thing.
And then, and only then, can you go out and say, okay, now I want to have a relationship.
Yeah.
Because if you go in before then, you're just spinning your wheels, wasting your time, going in cycles that were never broken because you never looked inside yourself and fixed the cycle that was inside you.
Right.
And it's funny because my husband asked me last night, he said, how do we fix this cycle we're in? And I was so inside the subject of and the conversation with it being about us that I couldn't even find the answers for him in that moment. I was like, I don't even know how to fix the cycle, and Source just answered it for me. Like, that's how it happens.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be branding this, but I said the other night, my Source speaks truth that my flesh just hasn't mastered yet. And that's so true in everybody's life, because we have those epiphanies in our minds that tell us good from bad, that tell us that if we're on the right track or the wrong track. Those feelings we get let us know if we're on the right track or the wrong track.
Right.
And we're going to fail over and over and over
part of
again.
Life, success, everything.
Yes, we're going to fail at hitting that standard of spirit.
Right.
But staying on this higher realm of it rather than the lower realm of it is the key.
Absolutely.
Because when we stay down here, we get nothing good.
Right.
When we stay up here, we get everything good.
Right.
You don't have to choose between nothing and something. You have to choose between something and something. Something good and something bad.
Right.
It's your choice which something you get.
Absolutely.
But it's never nothing. So never go into something like a relationship or anything else where you're like, well, it's better than nothing.
Right.
Because, no, it's not.
And then you're settling.
Yeah, then you're settling. Then you're miserable. Then you want to make everybody else miserable, and you wonder why everybody else has a better man than you or a better woman than you, and nothing will ever be good enough. And you will be two beings, vibrational beings that love negative energy and just suck it out of each other.
Yeah.
Instead of replenishing each other, you are draining each other in that moment, and nothing that is draining will ever sustain.
Absolutely. Yeah, so guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show. I encourage each and every one of you to find your happy place. Rid yourself of all the clog, all the gunk that you have been through, that someone else has put you through, that you've accepted. Remove yourself of all of that. Find your happy place. Find what makes you happy. Find the peace. Forgive yourself for, you know, continuing on life in such a manner, and then be ready to take charge for the rest of your life and know that everything else
is a new beginning.
Absolutely.
To start a new life.
Absolutely. And as long as you're doing the work, right, as long as you are doing the work, you will be amazed at the type of world you can create for yourself. So that's our time, guys. Jasmine and Brandy signing off. Y'all take care. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.